An application exclusion zone, or AEZ for short, is an area that moves with pesticide application equipment. The zone is the horizontal radius of the area surrounding the application equipment during the application process and may extend beyond the treated area. It can also extend downward from that horizontal plane to the ground. There are 3 application exclusion zones, or AEZs, in the Oregon Worker Protection Standard, and these are based at 150 feet, 100 feet, and 25 feet. They are determined by the chemicals applied and the application processes used. The 150-foot and 100-foot zones are when the application process is done by aerial or air blast application. The 25-foot zone applies when the application is made by any other means but not aerial or air blast application. Agricultural structures that can be occupied must be closed and secured prior to any application. The employer is responsible for closing down the building, turning off the ventilation system, which includes AC units along with air intake systems, protecting and storing personal and household items, and shoes and boots. So this is how it works. The 150-foot zone approach is when the application process is done by aerial or air blast and the pesticide has a label that requires the handler to wear a respirator. The employer must evacuate any agricultural structures and areas within 150 feet of the application equipment. Remember, in many cases, the application equipment makes more than one pass. For example, once a handler applies chemicals in one row and then turns around and comes back down another row, if the application zone is still within 150 feet of a structure, the 15-minute time frame required for aerial and air blast application will begin after the final pass within the 150-foot zone. The 100-foot zone approach is when the handler applies a pesticide aerially or with air blast and the label does not require them to use a respirator. The circle that extends to the ground is 100 feet from the spray equipment, so as the equipment moves, it works the same as the 150-foot zone. Any agricultural structures that can be occupied within that 100-foot radius have to be either evacuated or people can shelter in place. Whether you shelter in place or evacuate, you still must close all the windows, shut down the ventilation system including any air conditioning or air intake systems, protect and store personal and household items, and shoes and boots. Lastly, in the 25-foot zone approach, if the application equipment is applying the pesticide at a distance greater than 12 inches from the planting medium and not aerially or air blast applied, a 25-foot application exclusion zone must be created, so that way nobody can be within that 25-foot area. When using a 25-foot application zone, there's no 15-minute waiting period. If the application is less than 12 inches right at the planting medium level, there's no application exclusion zone, or AEZ. If personal or household items such as lawn chairs, barbecues, toys, outdoor kitchens, or any other item located in any of these zones, they have to be covered or put into their own sheltered area. You also need to have an enclosed place to store and protect boots and equipment. You can shelter in place or you can leave. Remember, when pesticides are being applied, the label for the pesticide is the law. If the label is more stringent, you will need to follow the requirements on the label. Also, if the label requires the handler to use a respirator, then the 150-foot exclusion zone will apply. You can't have anyone inside that exclusion zone. If you see someone, you must stop the application, have them clear the area, and follow decontamination procedures as necessary. The employer has many requirements that include: Number 1, identify all structures that would be in one of the AEZ areas. Number 2, have an appropriate plan for the type of application that is expected. And that will include what is being applied, when it will be applied, and this is the time of day, beginning and ending. How will occupants be informed of any changes to the plan, how to prevent and reduce exposure, where to get pesticide safety information, and number 3, ensure that all occupants are aware and understand the plan and know how to implement it. Lastly, provide easy access to this information by displaying it in close proximity to the agriculture, labor, housing. If you have any questions or concerns, please feel free to contact Oregon OSHA. For more information, please visit our website. We have many helpful resources there, and this includes printable brochures, guides, and fact sheets. Thank you for taking the time to learn more about application exclusion zones.